Hello my friends and welcome to my channel. Today I'm sharing with you 12 Valentine's Day Dollar Tree DIYs that I'm using to decorate my home with this year. I hope you enjoy this video, and as always, don't forget to hit that subscribe button if you're not subscribed. Today I am sharing with simple and easy dollar store DIYs. Most of these supplies have come either from a Dollar Tree or Dollarama. I'll let you know where I got them as I'm going through them. So the first one, I had these keys on hand. Then I picked up this heart at Dollarama. I'm pretty sure Dollar Tree has them as well. My Dollar Tree didn't, but so I picked it up at Dollarama. Then I have this ribbon that I picked up for a different project from Dollarama. I will also be using this rope that came from Dollar Tree. And then for painting this heart, I will be using the stain. It is called Ultimate Wood Stain 1 Coat Coverage. It's from Home Depot by Valentine'S. I'm just I have it on hand, so I want to use it up. You can paint your heart. You don't have to do what I'm doing. You can paint it with brown paint if you want. And then I'm using some white chalk paint. This is Old White from Annie Sloan, just to do a water down effect on this. So the first thing that we're gonna do is stain this, and I will be using my sponge brushes to do that. And I will be applying a very light coat. I do this to myself every time. I'm just gonna use a lint-free cloth to apply the stain. Much easier. And you want to put light pressure if you're using the stain. And what I like about using the stain, it is dry already. Just because I went with such a light coat. Now I'm going to mix some paint and water. And I want it very watered down, like quarter cup to like maybe just a water to a little drop of paint, just so you see. That's it. Now I'm gonna mix it up, and once you mix it up, if you think you don't have enough, you can always add a little bit more, but I think I do have enough. I'm just going to take the other end of this stain. Just going with the dry cloth just to wipe it down. And then from the lid, I'm just going to pick up a little bit of paint and just go around the edges. Like that. And then I'm going to wet it again with the same paint and just kind of give it a wash. I just really wanted the edges to be a little bit darker, so that's why. Okay, I think I have achieved that look that I was going for. And I'm going to assemble my key and my little ribbon. Just want to use this just for a measure so I don't make it too big. So I'm going to put it right there. I'm going to heat up my glue gun. So I'm going to hot glue the key right there. I would recommend maybe choosing a bit of a different ribbon. This one was a little bit harder to work with. There we go. I think this turned out really cute and rustic, which is farmhouse type of decor, which is what I was looking for. For the next one, I will be making a pillow, and I am using, which is I'm sure you guys are all familiar with, are the super soft microfiber cloths from Dollar Tree. These are the pure white ones. They're not the off-white, they're the pure white ones. And then I just had some stuff left over from a different project that I will be using. So I'm using this material and this material, and then I'm also using this felt piece. So I'm going to, first thing I'm going to do is cut out my heart from this material. So from the scrap materials. Trace them and cut them out. So that's done, and now I'm going to glue this pillowcase together. And you want to glue, I think I have a full tutorial on how to hot glue for those of us that don't know how to sew. And okay, so you want the outside to be on the out, so the insides to be on the outsides, because you're gonna be turning it inside out, right? So you want to match it all up, and because it is from the dollar store, it might not be, they might not be exactly the same in size, but you have to make it work. The best that you can. And then you want to hot glue it around, and then maybe just to about here, so that way you can fit a pillow in. Or if you're going to be inserting the stuffing, which is what I'm going to be doing, then you just want to hot glue it after, close it up after you're done doing that. And I'm using my less hot glue gun because I tend to burn myself a lot, so I like to use the hot glue gun that's not so hot. For the stuffing, once I'm ready, I have an old pillow that nobody uses anymore, and I'm just going to open it up, take out the stuffing, and stuff this pillow with it. I'm gonna turn it once it had a chance to cool off the glue. You want to turn it inside out or right side in, or push on the corners. There we go. And now I'm going to add the decor on it, and you want to kind of go towards the middle, because once you stuff it, it's gonna you want it to look okay. So adjust it before you're hot gluing it. Okay, I think I'm happy with the positions, and I'm going to hot glue it. While that's drying, I'm gonna get my pillow ready. And now to hot glue it, you just fold the inside and add the hot glue. And then fold again the top too, and just press it down. And then if there's any area that you might have missed, just add a bit more glue. And there we go. For this last project, you are going to need a heart. I picked this one up at Dollarama for $2. I'm still using that ribbon that I had left over, and then I paid this frame magnetic board that I also picked up for $3.50 at Dollarama. Some acrylic paint. I'm using the purple one and a white one just because I want to make it a little bit lighter, and a foam brush. So the first thing that I'm gonna do is I'm going to paint my heart, and I want it to be kind of a lighter color. So I'm just mixing these two. Make it more lavenderish. I'm gonna add a little bit more white. And I'm just going to put one coat. I just want it to be fairly light. And I'm going to paint the sides too. Okay, so while that's drying, I'm going to get my board ready. I really just bought this for the frame. And I like it because I can just remove this completely off, just like the frame. So we'll remove that as well, and you can use that for a different project as well. I'm going to just pop these off or cut them off. So I had measured this because I'm going to hot glue it to that, but in the frame. Hot. And then I'm going to hot glue the heart to it as well. And the supplies that I'm using are picture frame, this wooden heart, and some piece of material, fabric that I've had left over from a different project. So the first thing that I'm going to do is I'm going to stain it with this stain that I got from a dollar store and more. I've used it for several projects already, and I absolutely love the look of it. I use a rag to apply the stain. I do try with the brush, but the rag just works so much better in my opinion. So I let that dry, and then I move on to my frame, and I'm trying to cut out this fabric, but the lines weren't straight, so I just want to make sure that the line is straight so it fits perfectly and I can measure it perfectly inside the frame. So I'm using a permanent marker, just a black one, just to go over and mark off where I want it cut. I am using a rotary cutter just to cut that. And this works so much better than scissors. And I picked it up at that dollar store and more. I am located in Canada, in case if you are wondering where that store is. I am using a tacky glue to glue the fabric down, and I'm spreading the glue with the foam brush. So the last thing that I do is I hot glue the heart into the middle of this frame. And here it is, and I think it turned out absolutely stunning. For my next DIY, I will be using some red acrylic paint, this love sign that had come from Dollar Tree, this sign that I have used the letters for a different project, so I was left over with a heart, and some different types of paper. I've got the wrapping paper that looks like birch, and then just some scrapbook paper. The first thing that I want to do is I want to use these stripes that are already on the heart as a guide, because I want to cut out my craft paper, my scrapbook paper, as well as my wrapping paper into those stripes. I am using a paper cutter for the best straight line. And again, I'm using that tacky glue to glue these on. If this is your first time stopping by my channel, welcome. My name is Sonja, and like I said, this is my DIY channel. I also have a cooking channel and a cleaning decorating channel, and the links will be in the description box. On this channel, you will find tons of different DIY projects using dollar store materials, but not limited to dollar store materials, and also some thrift store upcycles, as well as furniture makeovers. So if this is something that is up your alley, I would love it if you consider subscribing and joining my YouTube family. Right now I am posting minimum 3 times a week, so I give you tons of different DIY inspirations. So please go ahead and press that red subscribe button. It's free, and don't forget to turn on your notifications by pressing that little bell beside the subscribe button. That way you will be notified whenever my new DIYs are up. And I would encourage you to go and check out my other channels if you like cooking or cleaning or decorating. I showcase a lot of these DIYs in my home decor over on my home channel. And also check me out on Instagram. There is tons of daily happenings and future DIY, upcoming DIY glances. So make sure you head on over there and check me out. The links are all in the description box. And if you like free printables, I also have a blog where I share a lot of free printables. Once I was finished with the scrapbook paper and all of the little pieces were trimmed off, I move on to my wrapping paper and my birch wrapping paper. I have been using this wrapping paper quite a bit in my latest projects with the winter decors and Valentine's Day decor. I just find that it's such a not neutral palette, like the look of it, and it goes really well with everything. We are redecorating our basement, and I've been really using the neutral colors like this, and I love my centerpiece that I made for my that I'm using on my coffee table, but I will be sharing that in a separate video on my new decor over in my living room over on my home channel. So stay tuned for that.
Can't get enough of this. Being with you is like never-ending sunshine. Feels like everything stops for a while when we look into each other's eyes. How could I ever let you go now when you're looking like that? Can't get enough of this. Being with you is like never-ending sunshine. Got your high heels on, and I'm wearing my worn-out jeans.
I really do enjoy using this rotary cutter. I think it's just so much easier to cut with it than the scissors. I just don't have good scissors like I mentioned before, and I can't wait for the stores to open up so I can actually go and get a great pair. Because I got tons of recommendations from you guys from my last video when I talked about the scissor issue.
Feels like everything stops for a while when we look into each other's eyes. I couldn't let you go now when you're looking like that. Can't get enough of this. Being with you is a never-ending sunshine. A never-ending sunshine. You know I want you close. Maybe hold your hand a little while. Somehow I know you're gonna be the girl that I end up calling on. Can't get enough of this. Being with you is like never-ending sunshine. Feels like everything stops for a while when we look into each other's eyes. I couldn't let you go now when you're looking like that. Can't get enough of this. Being with you is a never-ending sunshine.
I think these two different designs really complement each other and give it that almost like French provincial look a little bit to it, which is what I love. Now for these love letters, I end up cutting them just so they're all separate, so I can put them on easier and set them up the way I want to on top of the heart. So I just trim everything, make sure everything there's no little pieces of wood sticking out, and I paint them with I actually changed my mind and ended up painting them with light pink, just very, very soft pink, and go over it with some white just to soften it up even more instead of going with the red. I also end up using a little bit of spun gold just to go over it, over the letters. It just gives it that little bit extra of the rustic look, and I love, love, love the way they turned out. I did end up making the heart a little bit darker, just so it stands out a little bit more. And then I blend all the paints with a rag. Now once I put them on, I still felt that they weren't really popping out, so I glued them on first, and then I took my black acrylic paint and a very thin brush, and I'm actually using a lot of the makeup brushes that I have that I don't use, and just went over the edges with the black, and this just made the letters pop out that much more. And then I took that same black acrylic paint and just went into the little crevices between the papers and just dry brushed it a little bit all over the place, just to make it a little bit more rustic again. I absolutely love the way this one turned out, and let me know which one was your favorite.
Now, if you don't have this piece of wood, you could also use one of the signs that they have, those MDF signs, that would work as well. I had this piece of wood on hand, so I wanted to use it up. So I'm just going to create a trim, which is one of my favorite things to do. If you've been watching some of my videos lately, it's just a great way to create a frame without actually adding any wood to it. And this wood was pretty nice looking, so I wanted to utilize it. So I'm just using the width of the painter's tape as was going to be the width of my frame, and just taped it up, and then I'm going to add some red paint to the middle of it. I'm just using the flag red in acrylic paint. So once the paint was on, I just immediately took off the tape again, so there's no ripping of paint, and I just love the way this looked. Once the tape was off, I let this piece dry completely, and while that was drying, I am going to paint the word love that I had popped off a different DIY last year. Actually, it was one of the Valentine's, and I saw that they had the same sign this year at the Dollar Tree as well. So I just popped that off. It was silver. So I did paint it for a different project, but I wasn't using that project very much, so I wanted to reuse it, this word, because I really like the way it looked. So I'm going to paint it white. This would probably work better if you had white spray paint. I ran out, mine's completely empty, so I just ended up painting it with some white acrylic paint, which worked as well. I just think it would have been much easier if I had the spray paint. So I just gave this one coat, letting some of that gold poke through a little bit. I just think it made it look a little bit more rustic. So I let this fully dry, and once it was dried, I went ahead and using my hot glue, I glued this on to that framed piece of wood. You just want to make sure that everything is dry before you start gluing things. Next DIY was so super easy to make as well. I picked up these die cut words. I thought they were perfect. They had several different ones. I think had family, celebration, and some other one I can't remember. But Be Mine I thought was perfect for the Valentine's Day. And I picked up this little canvas. For the frame, of course, I absolutely love the little wood that's in these little canvas frames. So I was going to pop these off because I thought I was going to use this side, but then I figured out that I don't actually need to pop these off. I just need to cut the canvas off. So I took my craft knife and just cut all around, and then it just came off, and then I pulled anything that was left off of the frame.
Not long ago you got hurt, someone did you wrong. I can see it in your eyes, it's like your fire is gone. Across your face, it is written across your face.
So once I had the frame, all of that canvas off, I just put it on top to measure it, and then I saw that it had a bit of an indentation where it was folding, so that was a good guide just to trim this canvas, because I will be using it but the opposite way, where the shinier side of the canvas is going to be the inside of my frame. But I wanted to measure it out before I paint or stain the frame, so that way I don't get the canvas messy from the paint. So once I had that cut out, I proceeded to painting the canvas, the little frame, and I will be using the red paint that was actually left over on the brush from the previous project. I never actually dipped it into any paint. I just used up the paint that was left over on the brush.
If you want to talk, I'm right here, not gonna leave your side. Just feel free to open up when the moment's right. Across your face, it is written across your face. If you want to go out, we can go out. You can hide away just for one night. But if you want to cry, just let it out. I'm by your side.
Because there wasn't a lot of paint on this, it did not take, it was pretty much dry once I was done painting it. So I applied a generous amount of hot glue on the inside of the frame, so the unpainted side, and glued it to the shinier side of the canvas. And I love the contrast between the white and red. I just think it looks so nice. And then I proceeded to gluing that word into the middle of it. The last DIY that I'm working on is also very easy. Everything had come from the Dollar Tree except this stain, which I had on hand, and the cardstock, which I also had on hand. So I am going to, first thing is stain my heart, and then I'm also going to stain the top, like the roof of the little house frame and the inside bottom of the house frame with the antique walnut stain. And then I'm going to paint the rest of the sides with white acrylic paint.
Take your pain away, 'cause I hate seeing tears.
Once it was all nicely painted and dry, I traced it around the cardstock, cut it out, and I used just school glue to glue it in, and some of my little Mod Podge tool to kind of smooth it out in there, just to get into all the little crevices. I pushed it in. And then I ended up hot gluing that heart right in the middle.
Down your face, I know you're strong. Won't feel this
I'm
way.
cutting out this Farm Fresh Valentine's design that I made on my design space using Cricut Design Space and Cricut Access on the vinyl, and I'm using this artist panel as well, but I will take it apart. I will remove the canvas off the frame because I love the frame, especially once you stain it. So here is the frame, and like I said, it is so nice and great for making signs, and I just love it has like a little design on it, and I'm using this gel stain that I've been using quite a bit. If you watch my videos, I got it at a dollar store and more. And I'm using a rag to apply the stain. For me, that is the easiest and the best way to apply any stain, really, for me. Once I was finished staining it, I moved on to my vinyl that I cut out. I am just trimming some of the vinyl that wasn't cut for future use, and I use my weeding tool to weed it out. I have just recently gotten the Cricut Maker, and I am loving learning all the different ways to use it, how to use the design space, and all sorts of stuff. Do you have a Cricut Maker? Let me know down in the description box, and let me know all sorts of different things that you make with your Cricut if you have a Cricut machine. I am using a transfer tape to transfer the image, and this is actually a shelf liner from the Dollar Tree, and it works pretty good as a transfer tape.
So once I have it on there, I transferred over to my canvas and making sure all the bubbles are out before you peel it off. I love how clean and simple this looks, but I did feel it needed just a little touch of color, so I am adding just 2 little hearts on each side of Hugs and Kisses. Now, I was debating whether I should add some hearts into the bed of the truck or kind of hanging out, but I kind of just liked how simple this looked with just these little 2 hearts. Let me know if you would add some hearts in it or would you just leave it as is. Once I was done with drawing on hearts, I hot glue the canvas back onto the frame using a hot glue gun. So here it is. I think it looks so nice and clean, and I love the way it turned out. For my next project, I picked up these 2 hearts at Dollarama. I think they were $1.25 or $1.50. And I'm also using red acrylic paint, which is deep red acrylic paint, and white acrylic paint, and some foam brushes. I give the hearts a nice coverage, but not too much. It's okay if some of the wood shows. I kind of want it to look rustic, so I do leave some of that wood showing. And the white one, I love the way the white one worked because it wasn't giving it like 100% coverage. It would almost look like it was dry brushed on. Once the paint was dry, I used a little bit of sandpaper just to sand a couple areas off. So here they are. I think they would be a great addition to your tiered tray, or just any tray, or just simply as a part of any decor. For the next project, I am using this chipboard heart that I picked up at Dollar Tree, some jute rope from Dollarama, and I'm also using that gel stain from Dollar Store or more, and a rag. So the very first thing that I do is I apply the stain using the rag. Once the stain had time to dry, I moved on to hot gluing the rope around, and I glue it all the way around, and then I cut the piece, and then I start all over again, and I repeat this process 4 times. In my last video, I have asked you guys if you decorate for Valentine's Day, and it was pretty much a 50-50 split. Now I have another question. Do you guys celebrate Valentine's Day, and how do you celebrate it? Do you do something as a couple? Do you do something with your kids? Any special traditions? I would love to know. Valentine's is not something that we have ever celebrated as a couple, maybe when we were dating a little bit, but once the kids came around, it more became something that we did with the kids. I ran a home daycare, so I always had a party with the kids, and we did special games and things like that, but not too much as a family. So I think pretty much you got the idea that I was making a tray kind of thing. Now you could go even higher if you wanted to. For me, the 4 were plenty. It was just a little nice tray that you could maybe put it on a table and keep your remote controls on, or maybe take it into your bedroom and take off your jewelry and put it on. I kind of just decorated it a little bit here just so you can see how it looks with a little bit of decorations on it.